Hello and welcome to my channel, Joyce's Affordable Glam Life 360, or just Joyce. I'm on here today with a Get Ready With Me an Unsolved Mystery. This unsolved mystery is called the Houska Castle. So if you would like to know what this mystery is all about and to see how I achieved this look, then keep on watching. Houska Castle is an early Gothic castle 2.9 miles north of Prague in the Czech Republic. It is one of the best preserved castles from that period. The castle has a predominant Gothic chapel, green chamber with late Gothic paintings, and a knight's drawing room. Bohemian ruler Ottokar II of Bohemia in the second half of the 13th century ordered the castle to be built to serve as an administration center to manage extensive royal estates. Ottokar II reigned from 1253 to 1278. Later, it passed to the hands of the aristocracy that would frequently pass from ownership to ownership. There are some people that say they don't know why the castle was built, and here are the theories. But I found just some history behind it. This I found was some of the history of why or who decided to build it. In 1584 to 1590, it underwent Renaissance-style modifications. It did not lose any of its fortress features, especially its feature down from a steep cliff. Really quickly, I am going to use the e.l.f. These are their bite-size eyeshadow. This one is in Rosewater. I picked up just recently. During this renovation, it added enough amenities for people to live there. The alterations removed a moat and watchtower. It also removed some of the sandstone outcrops that were left inside the castle walls and interiors. Defenses that were facing inward were removed, but decorative depictions of anchors, loopholes can still be seen in the interior courtyard. Surrounding the castle are thick forests, swamps, and sandstone mountains. The location has no strategic value, and it is not near any trading routes. So the question is, why was Houska Castle built in such a strange location? In the early 19th and early 20th centuries, the castle had a quiet period and was used as a hunting lodge, and a collection of trophies can still be seen there. Some are considered quite valuable. Houska Castle is thought to be one of the most haunted locations in the world. Upon further inspection of the castle, there are some strange features. The castle windows are fake. The windows are facades, glass panes behind which sturdy walls were built. The castle has no water source, no kitchen, and for years it had no occupants. Houska Castle was not a protective sanctuary or a residence. According to folklore, Houska Castle was constructed over a large hole in the ground which was known as the gateway to hell. It has been said that the hole was so deep that no one could see the bottom of it. What actually happened before the chapel was built is hard to say for certain. The stories paint a dark picture of a nightmare world that challenges our perception of reality. The villagers who live close by to the hole before the castle was built claimed to see half human, half animal-like demons flying in the skies above, as well as other mysterious, terrifying creatures. The villagers believed that these, whatever they were, came from the very depths of the pit. These monsters would terrorize the locals. At night, everybody that lived close to the mysterious hole would stay at home and lock up their houses the best they could, and they would pray. And they would hope that they would survive until morning. During the day, the locals would try their best to avoid the location. of the pit. The villagers were terrified as they believed that it was a gateway to hell. Legend says that the half animal, half human would crawl out of the pit at night, and black winged creatures used to attack locals and drag them down into the hole. It is believed that the real reason the castle was built was to keep the evil in. It was built in this location in order to cover the mysterious pit from which the demonic creatures emerge from at night. It was built in this location in order to cover the mysterious pit from which the demonic creatures emerge from at night. The chapel was specifically built directly over the bottomless pit in order to seal the evil in and keep the demonic creatures from entering our world. The chapel is dedicated to Saint Michael, the archangel, who in the book of Revelation leads the fight against Satan. Faded Gothic frescoes on the wall depict Archangel Michael battling a dragon, and another of him with a small devil tied up on the end of a pole. The other figures are saints such as Andrew and Christopher, except for a curious depiction of a left-handed female cantor. Left-handedness was often associated with evil, and the cantor is a half-human beast. Well, I'm left-handed. I guess back then, just kidding, LOL. Cantor is a half-human beast, and why she's female and an archer is not explained, but the figure has no links to Christian iconography. Its roots are pagan. 700 years after the pit has been sealed, visitors still claim to hear the scratching of creatures from the lower floors at night, trying to claw their way to the surface. Others claim to hear a chorus of screams coming from beneath the floor. It is said that nearby prisoners were granted pardons if they would agree to be lowered by a rope into the hole. The story goes that the first lowered prisoner let out a yell after entering the hole. When he was raised up, he appeared to have aged over 30 years. His hair turned white and his eyes had a crazed look in them. He died of unknown causes just days later. After that, prisoners chose a life of torture instead of a trip down into the pit. In 1823, it went through another renovation. In 1897, the property was purchased by Princess Hohenlohe, and in 1924, the Times of the First Republic bought by the president of Skoda, Joseph Smonek, and a famous poet, Karl Heinrich Macha, spent the night there once in 1836 and wrote a letter outlining his strange visions, including a peculiar funeral. In the letter that he wrote, he recounts hellish dreams in which he visits 2006 Prague, where a girl shows him moving pictures in a small casket, is what he termed it, small casket, which could be, some people have said, could it have been like a iPad that he looked at in his vision. He drifts by huge sandstone cliffs with square holes emanating yellowish light, and some have said, could that have been the modern apartments that are up or been built in Prague? The castle has a very checkered history. So far, we can see that, and it often attracted people interested in the occult. During the 30 Years' War in the early part of the 1600s, a Swedish officer named Aranto lived there and practiced dark arts, hoping to achieve immortality. Experiments involved a black hen, and he was shot through a window by local hunters as his activities had caused some suspicion in the area. and the invading Swedish army was not very popular anyway. His ghost, it is told, is supposed to still haunt the castle. I just picked this up, the e.l.f. This is the blush palette in light, and it looks like that. And I'm going to use this for my contour, and then I think I'm going to use maybe this one for my blush. But I could change my mind. During the 1930s, it gets much stranger. Or much darker. In the 1930s, the Nazis took over the castle to conduct occult experiments with dimensional portals. So Hitler was a paranormal enthusiast who was known to dabble in the occult. It is uncertain what the scientists learned from Houska Castle, but years later, during renovations, several Nazi officer skeletons were found, and it appeared they were killed execution style. It is also said that the Nazis would perform inhumane experiments on local people and prisoners of war. The reason why they don't really have a lot of information on what the Nazis did there is because, true to form, Nazis destroyed all their evidence and recordings of what they actually did. So we don't really know exactly, but that's the theory or what they believe they did there. The recurring ghosts at Houska Castle are plentiful and include a giant bulldog frog, a human, a headless black horse, and a woman in an old dress who is frequently seen peeking out of the top floor windows. Beneath the cellar, there is said to be some non-human remains of the beast that emerged from the hole. People who have spent time at the castle have also reported very strange things happening here. It is rumored that the reason that the Nazis chose the location was that they were trying to harness the power of the gateway for their nefarious means. So to get ahead in the war, to dominate the world, basically, is the theory. Others have reported hearing a chorus of screams from under the floor, while some have seen strange creatures that look like a cross between a person, a frog, and a bulldog prowling around the castle, like I said before. There are also other common ghosts to be found around the castle. Caretakers have told stories of a headless spirit that is seen in the courtyard, blood gushing from his neck. The current owner of the building has admitted watching a glass levitate from a table one night while entertaining guests. Another guest saw two featureless human shadow figures who approaches her while staying in the castle. She was frozen in fear as they told her about killing young girls, though there is no mention of this, if this was in the castle or not. Human shadows said to her if killing the girls happened at the castle. The third floor has a beautiful woman in a white dress who peers out of the window. There is also a group of people chained together who walk through the castle, each with a terrible injury or carrying a dismembered body part. So almost like the way I picture it, and maybe I'm wrong, but the way I picture it is like a chain gang kind of thing, and walking together. There is also a black dog of gigantic size that appears around the castle. And it is told that dogs that come to the castle act very strangely when entering the premises. So maybe it does have some merit. They say animals and children can see spirits. Whispered voices coming from the chapel when no one is there has also been reported, as well as sometimes there are strange moaning voices speaking many languages. The lodge is possessed by two dark figures who sometimes whisper threats of murdering young girls. A dark-robed figure appears in the cellar and disappears as he tries to go up the stairs. People have claimed that car batteries would mysteriously lose power when parked near the castle, and other unexplained phenomenon would occur. I also read that there is another ghost who's basically the gatekeeper of the pit. And so he sometimes will be seen as well. I bought a new lip liner that I'm trying out, which is the Essence Stay Lip Liner. And then this one is in, I believe this one is in 01 because duh. And then I bought a new lipstick called This Is New by Essence, and it looks like this. Every paranormal group that has investigated this location have all come to the same conclusion. They say this place is pure evil. All kinds of different people have been thrown into the pit. Murderers have been thrown in, rapists, and just plain evil people, which makes me wonder the energy that surrounds the that is in the castle and the surrounding area of the castle. This was another great mystery, unsolved mystery. Pretty much, we know that there's something very strange going on at the Houska Castle. That's not anybody's doubting that. There's just something very strange going on. And we don't really know if there is a pit down below because the present day owners will not open the floor of the chapel to find out. And they have their reasons, and I understand it. I think part of what I've learned just by reading, I think part of it is they believe that this is actually, there's a pit and it's the gateway to hell, and they don't want to mess with being responsible for anything basically coming out if they were to open it. So that makes a lot of sense. There's so much history involved at this castle. If there's negative energy around, it's going to create more negative energy and create, right? And so it just becomes something bigger and bigger. On a personal note, being home, I've done a little more research in astrology and learning about it, and just in the world we live in, and how the world we live in is a lot bigger than we think. So it's been very interesting, just opening my mind up to new, different opinions, ideas, and I've been loving it. Just doing even these mysteries has opened my mind up to the possibilities and to the facts of what may or may not be true in our perception of the world we live in. If you enjoyed this unsolved mystery, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, will you please consider subscribing? And if you already are subscribed to my channel, I thank you for your love and your support. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.